Hey, welcome back. In my last video, I showed how to create faceplates in WinCC Unified, and now I want to show how to use the property interface and how to update the faceplate to release a new version. Okay, so from before, what we had was a connection to a 1200 PLC and a Rockwell PLC displaying a string value of its name and then being able to control a speed. And what I'd like to do now is to be able to use the property interface in order to change how this bar works and also to change the background color of the faceplate. So I'm going to go in, right click, edit type. And what we want to do is go to the property interface and add a new property. And what you see is that you get a data type, which there's several to select from. But the easy one to understand is color for sure. So whenever you have this property background connected to an object, you will be able to select that color and then it will display that in that instance of the faceplate. So for example, what I'm going to do is go back to the background here, go to background color, go to property interface, and then select background. And so in one instance, I can select, let's say, red, and in another instance, select blue, and that will be connected to this background property. So next, let's change this slider so that in one instance, let's say that you only want to be able to control it to 30%, not 50%, and you want to configure that in that particular instance. So add a maximum and minimum value, and then we'll connect to the slider. And here, what we want to do is change the data type to a floating point number. Go back to visualization. And then we're going to go down and find the property that is the scale value. So they have a maximum and a minimum here. Property interface. Okay, so what that does is now instead of it being hard-coded to 0 and 50 and being the same for every single instance, you could change when you actually put it in the screen the maximum and minimum speed depending on what they input in the instance. And the one thing to note about this is that the property interface, think of it more like something that you could change like when you're designing the screen, and it's not like connected to the PLC. In some cases, you might want to have like the PLC actually set what that value is. And in that case, what you would want to use is tag and not property interface. Tag is what's going to connect to a PLC communication value, whereas property interface is just something that is going to, you want to update when you're designing the screen, but it's going to otherwise stay the same. It's not going to be dynamic. Okay, so we're going to save the project and we're going to release our changes in order to actually make them update and be usable. And if you haven't used the library before, this is really important to kind of make sure that you select this here. So we're going to create a new revision here, and I want it to update all of the instances in the project. So right now we have 0.1 in the project, and I want all of them to change to 0.2. If you don't select this, you have to go in and manually change it. And if you like, let's say that you have like 50 of these faceplates, you don't want that to happen. So make sure you use that if you want them to all immediately update. And then if you don't want to have like a whole bunch of revisions kind of in your library and you just know that this is going to be the one you're going to use, you can go ahead and delete unused types. Where you don't want to use these is like, let's say you're trying to create standard objects for a library. You don't want to go in and then like change your entire project before it's ready to use. Okay, so now it got rid of 0.1. And if we go back into the interface now, what you can see is you could have 600 or 60 and 10. And then let's say the background is now red for this one. All right, let's go ahead and download this. It's going to be a Delta download. All right. Now you saw that the default was blue on the other one, and I didn't change it. So I would have to go back and set that up. Let's go ahead and do that. So let's see. And this one, it's a light gray, and that one's going to be 100 to 20. All right. So that definitely adds a lot of capability to your faceplates to make them flexible. It's something that I use a lot, or used to, on WinCC Comfort, and so I'm excited to start using this on WinCC Unified. All right, talk to you soon, and thanks for following our series.